Hello everyone and welcome back to PAX and Recreation. Broom broom, you see Optimus Prime here, you know what that means? It's Mother Trucker time, because we are back at Aetherdrift and this is BUNDLEMANIA, you saw the title, so we're doing bundles. And since bundles are my favorite product in all TCGs, you know, Magic the Gathering, Pokemon, which is late trainer boxes, and even Lorcana has something similar. I think Star Wars has something similar too, not sure. Certainly the Japanese card games that are not Pokemon, so like One Piece and Dragon Ball, could copy these because I love bundles. They serve as a sort of mini containerized version of a set. So if you buy anything else besides the bundle for each set, you will have a box and a neat capsule of what each set is, and then you can just buy the singles, right? That's kind of my go-to balance between buying stuff and buying singles. That will be the bundles. And Aetherdrift has two bundles. So it has the normal bundle and it has the Finish Line bundle. And the Finish Line bundle we're going to open in a video that comes after this one. And then you can compare the two, but for today we're going to focus on this one. So the cover art, very cool, very explosive, very to the point, very Mario Kart-y, or very Mad Max-y, depending on where you want to look. Obviously, the premium bundles always have the more deluxe art, the more serious art. I certainly like this more because you can see the characters and, you know, all that. Here's more of a contained scene of the race, but still looks cool. So you have Aetherdrift with a flag, which is something pretty cool, even though people don't like this set for some reason. And, well, I think the reason is because Wizards killed it before we got a chance to actually love it. But you're either first place or dead last. And it has the usual contents of a bundle, so nothing crazy here. They keep, we still have less stuff, you will see in a second, but the usuals are here. So you have the card box, an alt art traditional foil for a specific card, in this case is Lumbering World Wagon. You have 9 14 card Aetherdrift play boosters, and I will always point this because I love this as a psychological terrorist attack, which is 9 in text and then 14 card in numbers, which is very practical, but also lures your brain into thinking that these are 14 boosters if you're not careful, because now they don't have anymore now with 9 boosters, they don't do that anymore. They're like, okay, it's the standard now. You have 20 traditional foils and 20 regular basic lands and an oversized spin down, which is one of my favorite things to collect from this. Obviously, as you already saw in the Pokemon videos, and if you didn't, because you only see Magic content, please go check the Pokemon videos. It's the same voice that you love, it's just a different trading card game. Nice. The Pokemon trainer boxes, which are basically the bundles for Pokemon, do have more value in them, in my opinion. Not only because they have the book that Magic used to have, but they also have sleeves and coins and all that. So now we have an insert, which is kind of cool, but sometimes I will wish that this was like a little bit harder or something, so that you could use it as something, you know, like more of a cardboard material. Some people say this is okay because you can frame it if you want and just have the art, but I don't think so, because the way this is done, you have like the number here, all the icons here. The artist, I'm okay with the artist name, but all this copyright info, it's like, stop littering my beautiful art. So not so sure, but normally, you know, they do that on the one side because on the other there is normally another piece of art that they, you know, have more preference towards. And even though this art is beautiful, very Mad Maxian, and I have to commend Brian Sola for it, or Sola, I don't know. Please correct me, Brian, how to pronounce your name, but great art. They littered it completely with all these icons. On the other side, we have this beautiful catalog of racers, which is kind of cool because this gives me, you know, 1999 vibes with Star Wars The Phantom Menace kind of thing, you know, like all the pod racers, and each pilot has like their own lore and all that. And this is something that really bothers me about this set, is that they could really double down on this and make it like give more spotlight to the characters, make more of a big deal of it. But, you know, it's like Innistrad Remastered and Edgar Markov were just before this, and just the week after this set released as a pre-release, not even released, because the day before this set officially released, not pre-release, but officially released, they were already spoiling everything. Final Fantasy, And then the day it released, they were spoiling Tarkir and then Edge of Eternities and even Avatar. So it's like people are like, whatever. But this thing looks very cool. Have the Ether Rangers, the Cloudspire Racing Team, the Champions of Amonkhet, the Speed Demons, the Speed Brood, the Guidelight Voyagers, the Goblin Rocketeers, the Killhaulers, the Alacrian, Quick Beasts, and the End Riders. So very cool. Gabo Leps and Jeff Carpenter, very cool art. I really like the concept. This is the same concept that is in the premium bundle, as you saw, right? So same art, same concept. It's kind of cool. Sadly they didn't feature this more. I would really like to see this more feature and give more relevance to the teams as they do. They give relevance to the clans in Tarkir or to the guilds in Ravnica, but it is what it is. So the art of the box itself is basically the art of the outer box, but a little bit zoomed out because, here you have this curve with other erasers, and here is all within the box, which is cool. I love it. It's a very dynamic art with the trees upside down and all that, so you get the message. It's very cool. And then it's all racing, baby, all racing, except for the back, which you have the same art. And I have mixed feelings with that because it's like cool, but different kind of cool. And it's like a separation. I like it when there is some sort of continuation in the art or none at all. And having maybe the art here and a zoom art here or something. I don't know. The box is cool. It's not the worst looking box, but it feels like there, which is kind of one of the problems I have with this. But I digress. It's kind of the summary of the set. Like it feels kind of there, if I may be mean for a second. Now we don't have our cardboard cup anymore. We have this divider here that is a very smart use of resources. You have the same holder that kept things in place now has a divider here with cool art from Wayne Reynolds, a bunch of counters, a mini divider in the racing theme, more counters, another mini divider, and another piece of great art, in this case from Loic Canavaggia. So I don't know how to pronounce your first name. Loic? Sorry, but I'm pretty sure your last name is Canavaggia. I'm dead certain there. But hey, great art nonetheless. Kudos there. And I'm one of those that actually uses this divider, so I will remember you always. By the way, one thing that they could do, right? Since I know that I complained about they selling this beautiful piece of art with all this stuff around, and now I will be a hypocrite, but since we're doing this, when you remove the divider, the name of the artist is not in the divider, so that, it's cleaner, but since we're doing it, just might as well put it in the bottom. I don't know, 50-50, at least they have recognition here, but I don't know. So there is that, and now let's see. We have the 9 boosters, which is the usual stuff that we expect here, the 9 playing boosters, and the lands with the promo card, 2 reference cards that they changed the art slightly. Now it has the same aesthetic as the ones that are in Magic Foundations. So on your turn, blocking, attacking, how to cast spells, and popular Magic formats. So I love that they recognize that bundles are kind of like the product for the everyman, people that just start on Magic do that. And the die, Lapis of Resistance, a very cool die that I am trying to focus because the lights are killing me. But, this is the Aetherdrift blue, which is interesting that the set is about races. The logo is yellow, and everything that you will see regarding Aetherdrift is yellow. So yellow. The pre-release was yellow. The finish line bundle is yellow, and any other product is yellow. Like the logo is yellow, the thing is yellow. But if you had to ask me what's the color of Aetherdrift, I will say blue. And you will say, oh, it's yellow and blue, but it's like, no, blue is more prominent. It's even on the boosters, it's more prominent. So interesting nonetheless. In this case, it's blue and gold. It's one of the better looking die of the recent bundles. I really like it. And, the flag there, I don't especially love the icon, but the set icon or the set logo, but this die is gorgeous. So there is that. Now let's go for the Let's go see the promo and the lands. Before this came separate, now they come together, so you no longer get to keep your lands on curl. So now if you want to open one thing, you have to open everything. So Lumbering World Wagon with an alt art, it says this vehicle's power is equal to the number of lands you control. Whenever this vehicle enters or attacks, you may search the library for a basic land card, bring to the battlefield tab, then shuffle. Not a bad vehicle at all for 2 and 1 green. Pretty cool in foil. And then put this in the green slot already, and then you have the lands for this set, which I have to say I love. And why is that? Because you get to see whatever we are talking about, in this case plains, islands, all of these are the foil lands, but from the cockpit perspective, and it's pretty cool, right? So in plains is Amonkhet, islands, I can recognize this plane, I'm getting old. But they pick the ship, so it has more of a water feeling. Swamp, mountain, and forest. So all of them have the cockpit view, and then just something that gives you that vibe of the environment. So with islands, it's kind of cheating because as long as it looks blue or has water, it works. But this is not water. This is actually fire from the other vehicle. So it's just the ship that tells you that, and I guess these are islands if you want to look at it like that. Same way that these are plains, even though it has mountains around it and something. But swamp is kind of a stretch. Lastly, in the recent times, Wizards of the Coast goes with the logic of swamp equals city, and it's I guess because it's an icon of ambition of the human race. Maybe, I don't know. Mountains are mountains. Roses are red. Well, but. Ironically, in the mountains, you don't see the mountains that clearly, and forests are very, non sequitur. So you have these things here, and then you have the normal lands, which are beautiful, by the way. So strong kudos to these artists. They normally have you see parts of the street or the race track where this happens. You have 3 different arts here contained, right? So all of this in foil. They did have the detail of including all 3 in foil, right? Same for the mountains. So, this is the land appreciation moment because I really enjoy these arts, even though, in my opinion, because we already have this standard, but in my opinion, the lands should be full art always to appreciate all these detail that, normally goes to waste, but whatever. This gives a lot more flavor about the race itself than any of the other cards because these are the locations where the race is happening, right? And here are the same cards, but in non-foil. And here you can see the mountains better. This is one of the problems with foil cards. You don't always get to see the actual art because it gets devoured by the foil, right? So not bad. At least they included all 3 variations in foil and non-foil. So appreciated Wizards because normally they would, I don't know, my expectation will be they just include the normal lands and the special ones will be buy the collector boosters, but that was decent. So not bad. We have to recognize that when they give us cardboard that costs them the same, but So let's go to the boosters. So everything you saw up until now is stuff that you get if you open if you buy a bundle, but whatever is inside these boosters obviously is random. And you may be like, well, that's obvious, you always say the same, but I feel like it's a PSA, right? I normally have to say that just in case, because I don't want anyone, maybe you are a new player, you're a young player, you're watching this and you're like, man, conclusion, I should totally buy this thing that this guy is showing up because I will get these cool cards. It's like, well, no, you will get the sting. Yeah, it's a sting. You will get the stuff that is already advertised that you will get by default. Everything else is random, and that's kind of how this works. It's loot boxes, it's gambling, it's fun, but you have to do it responsibly. Oh, nice. First booster, and we already pulled something cool. The Valor's flagship for 4 and 3 white is a mythic card, it's a vehicle. It's a 7/7. It has flying, first strike, and lifelink, and it has crew 3, cycling for X generic, 2 generic, and 1 white. When you cycle this card, create X 1/1 colorless pilot creature tokens with this token, saddles, mounts, and cruise vehicles as though its power were 2 greater. So not bad. Ooh, double value, baby! So not bad of a first booster. I mean, all the other boosters are going to be poo-poo compared to this one. but we started strong. Full art and foil, Sapsunen Luxa Embodied for 3, 1 green and 1 blue. It's a very weird god creature. It's a 6/6 with Reach, Trample, and Indestructible. So 2 mythics in the same booster, man, crazy. Sapsunen can attack or block unless it has an even number of counters on it. 0 is even. So at the beginning of your first main phase, put a +1/+1 counter on Sapsunen. Then if it has an odd number of counters on it, draw 2 cards. So not bad. It's kind of an interesting engine, and you could certainly build a deck around it. A swamp and a zombie token. That is also an elephant token. That is obviously a mammoth, but whatever. I digress. Not gonna have that fight now. So booster number 2, I think we already hit the jackpot with the first one. So from this point on, everything is going to be very, very, warm, I guess, very okay. And I just want to comment on the play, which is the play in itself. I don't know, the cards are kind of all over the place, and that makes sense considering that it's 3 planes into 1. A lot of people were excited that Amonkhet is coming back, and I always forget the name. Kaladesh is here to a degree, right? Like, a lot of people were excited because of that. But Sita Varma Masked Racer, okay, not bad. And another one, Crypt Caller Chariot. Okay, so not a bad second booster, I have to say. I was like 0 expectation, but that was good. 3-pop in foil, a Mountain Land in foil, okay, not bad, and one of these art cards for the yellow style cards, a District Mascot from Ryan Roadkill. Okay, not bad. This is another thing that was very polemic. So in the Finish Line bundles, and I think the collector boosters, you get the first place box stoppers that are basically the only way to get in these yellow cards, and some people hate them with a passion. So that also didn't help with the set. But some people hate them for 2 different reasons, and this is interesting because this shows you the status of the game when it comes to its customers, right? Because you have like 3 ways of engaging with Magic as a customer. One is very beneficial for Wizards, the other is less beneficial for Wizards, and the other is not beneficial at all for Wizards, right? So obviously the most beneficial way of engaging with Magic is buying product. For Wizards, I mean, for Wizards, right? Not for you as a player, but for Wizards is buying product. When you buy a sealed product, you're giving Wizards money, which, they make the game. So, you have, if you like something, you have to, talk with your wallet. And if you don't like something, you also need to talk with your wallet, which means not buying stuff sometimes, right? So foil tune-up, not bad. So what I'm trying to say with that is that type of players are already... So that's class number 1, right? Like the ones that buy stuff directly from Wizards, sealed product. And you have a lot of scalpers, and you have a lot of stores and big online retailers, and for cards specifically, that just buy a big amount of cards and just of sealed product, open it just to sell the singles, which is okay, because that leads to the second type of consumer, which is the one that buys singles and product not directly from Wizards. That's also okay. I will say Wizards doesn't hate that player, but certainly doesn't like it as much as the one that buys stuff directly from them. Regal Imperial Store, not bad. Other dinosaurs you control get +1/+1. Okay, simple but good, and for 1 and 2 green is a 5/4. So simple but efficient. A sign of power creep already. Veloheart Bike in foil, okay. And another land, a Windscarred Crag. Again, you see always the race there. And a very cool looking card that is Thundering Broodwagon. Okay, not bad. for the art cards. So that second type of player, which is the one that buys singles, is somewhere in the middle, right? Wizards doesn't hate that type of player because they know that you're still buying cards. You're buying them from the people that bought the sealed product, and that can be individuals or that can be stores, right? So Wizards still got money. They just didn't got as much money as they could if everyone just bought sealed product, right? Plus, they know what they're doing because when they include sealed cards in products, they do it in a very calculated way so that people will go after that product and people will after those singles. So more people buy the seal to sell those cards and keep the value and all that. So like Wizards doesn't hate that you buy singles, but certainly because they play with that economy too. But certainly, Gonti, Night Minister. But certainly they don't like it as much as if you just bought all sealed product from them, right? So that's player number 2. And then player number 3 is the one that Wizards doesn't like at all, which is the proxy player. Obviously, if you play with proxies, you can't participate in official events, but the funny thing is that nowadays no one cares about that, unless you play standard. If you play standard, then obviously if you play in the store for prices and so on, it doesn't matter. But if you play with your friends or with a group that has agreed that proxies are okay, then that's money that doesn't go into the economy of Magic. And that's the type of player that I will say Wizards doesn't appreciate as much. So, but why? Because, well, to a degree, technically, that's piracy. And I say technically because, I mean, sometimes to play test a card to see if it works, you proxy it, and then you go buy the single, right? So people already proxy cards as soon as Wizards spoils them, even before the set has come out, just to know. And a lot of times proxying that card and play with that card is what makes people go, this card is good, and that makes the price go up, which in turn makes the sealed product price go up. So it's not entirely bad for Wizards. Samut the Driving Force. Okay, for 3, 1 red, 1 green, and 1 white. First strike, vigilance, haste, 4/5. Start your engines. If you have no speed, it starts at 1. It increases once on each of your turns when an opponent loses life. Max speed is 4. Other creatures you control plus X plus 0, where X is your speed, and non-creatures plus you cast cost X less, where X is your speed. Speed is that card, by the way. So, not bad. The Mimeoplasm, which, Mimeoplasm Revered One is a mythic card. It costs X, 1 black, 1 green, 1 blue. One of the most beloved commanders, I think, because it's from the first precons, if I recall correctly. Not this one, but like the Mimeoplasm, the original card. As Mimeoplasm enters the battlefield, exile up to X creature cards from your graveyard. It enters with 3+1/+1 counters on it for each creature card exiled this way. And if you pay 2, Mimeoplasm becomes a copy of that creature card exiled with it, except it is a 0/0 and has this ability. So, very cool. Pothole Mole in foil, and then Bloodfell Caves. I love that they have like a land there because it's like, it's play booster. It has to be like a draft booster. Dinosaur Dragon, lovely token, and a treasure token. Not bad. So, all this to say what? With the types of player and all that. All 3 types of player are getting tired in different degrees, right? Like the players, I think that the players that are less tired are the ones that proxy stuff, because it's just like, if they care about something, or they like something, they just proxy it, so they don't feel that much the burn. Like, yes, if you want to stay competitive in CEDH or like in a proxy circle or anything, or in your, in your pod and everyone uses proxies and all that, then maybe yes, you need to be on top, but there are so many channels talking about good cards for Commander and so on that you just need to check those channels and then proxy those cards, and that's it. So you don't really feel the burn that much. And I think that's the healthiest way. If you buy singles, it's kind of the same, but your money is kind of there too. So it's also healthy. The players that buy sealed stuff, nice. The players that buy sealed stuff, like yours truly, are the ones that are feeling this the most, because it's like, man, I don't know if I need to buy this or that. And then it's like, but this one comes with a special limited yellow thing that is only for this set. And it's like, okay. And they play with the FOMO so much that you don't have F anymore. It's no FOMO anymore. It's just OMO. You don't feel you don't feel the F. It's not fear anymore. It's just like of missing out. You're just missing out because like whatever. Like I can't keep up. So 2 red and 2 green for a 7/7 with Vigilance and Menace. When this creature enters, other creatures you control get +2/+2 and gain Vigilance and Menace until the end of turn. Damage can't be prevented this turn. A foil Guideline Optimizer, a Thornwood Falls in foil, not bad, and a Thopter that is also a cat. So even you, looking at this unboxing, like, wait, we talked about the bundle, and yes, it's fun to see what cards I'm pulling, but it's like, whatever, right? Like, I mean, most of these cards, you either already knew them or you don't really care about that, which is another unfortunate consequence of what Magic has become. And I blame you, Post Malone, for making people think that everything is a lottery in Magic the Gathering, that you can just save them by buying the rare cards. But now, in all seriousness, you know, when people open boosters like this, I'm doing this while we talk because, well, I'm doing the whole podcasting and so on. I am actually appreciating the cards, but I'm going faster. If you see the first videos in this channel, I was very slow at the beginning. People normally, when you open this, you go like, boom, 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 and just go to the expensive cards and go like, hey, cool, I don't care about this. This is all trash. And then, what are your glide card? Okay, cool. And then Lumbering, War Wagon, okay, interesting, and boom, right? And foil. A lot of times you're just chasing for a specific card that you already saw the price. So that's kind of, I am doing this without knowing the price of the cards. I haven't checked them yet. I normally try to check them before I open the collector boosters, just to have more of an insight when I do the video, but I try to not check them when I do any other product, to not be biased, because, you know, last booster, by the way. But that's kind of the reality of Magic and Steel Pro. That's why one of my favorite formats is OG Commander, which I feel that the more time moves forward, the more that will appear as a format. So you have Commander and you have CEDH, right? Elder Dragon Highlander and competitive Elder Dragon Highlander. And competitive Elder Dragon Highlander, you actually is encouraged that you use proxies, because it's like you have to do the optimal strategy, and there are so many optimal strategies. So people play with everything they have, and it's a very cutthroat mode of game. So that's perfectly okay. I love CDH. And Commander has all these problems with like balancing, and now we have the Commander brackets and all that. Oh, Therian, War Tyrant. Okay, not bad. Nice. For the last booster, we actually get a full art Gastal Thrill Roller. So an artifact vehicle with trample haste, and when this vehicle enters, it becomes an artifact creature until the end of turn. Crew 2, and 2 and 1 red, discard a card, return this card from your graveyard to the battlefield with a finality counter on it. Activate only as a sorcery. Not bad. Still getting strength in foil, even though it doesn't look that much like a foil, but it is, I promise. A full art planes and a vehicle, Akira reference much, and a Chandra token. So not bad. That's kind of a pool. I do feel though that looking at the meta and all that, and just to finish the point, I do feel that Commander is going to have a third variant, right? Because Commander is becoming this weird thing with the brackets. People do use proxies. People try to balance it with like money limits. Like, okay, guys, decks that are no over $300 or $100 or whatever, or just precons. And not all precons are made the same. Even Wizards admits that it's like all precons fit in that bracket, but not all of them. Some of them are more powerful actually. So that's why I like Pauper, because you actually play with a lot of cards that normally people ignore, and that's why I also like what I will start calling OG Commander, which is like you grab your all the cards that you have in your house and you build a deck with that and try to make it work, instead of looking at guides, buying singles, proxying cards or whatever to make an optimal card for that commander that you have. The original vibe of Commander, according to at least what Sheldon said and so on, was that you had the Elder Dragons and then you play with the cards that you had in your shoebox, because you more likely only had one copy of each. So that's kind of where the rule came from, and you kind of did a deck and, you know, do a thing. Then it become kind of a power creep full of elitist people that like to bling their decks out. But I feel like the original spirit of just playing with the commons and uncommons and everything you have in your house is being lost. So, you know, Then you have the other hype, the other idea, which is, hey Wizards, why don't you just stop doing like commons and uncommons and just do the good cards, and instead of doing like 300 cards per set, just do like, I don't know, 50 or 100, and that's it. And we don't have that much that much trash. But standard exists, draft exists, and that's kind of the joke of the game. Not everything has to be optimal, not everything has to be premium. You can just sometimes just play with okay cards, and that's cool. But hey, that's the bundle. So do I recommend the bundle? Well, mixed feelings, right? Like, the box is cool, but God knows, you really need to love this art, which is, by the way, nothing against the art. The art is cool, but I don't feel it's like a very strong piece of art in the sense that it's like very iconic. It's like, you know, the art is beautiful, it's perfect execution, but it's like, oh, it's 3 cards running. Like, it's not like something more emblematic. For example, this feels more emblematic, even though it's kind of meh. You know, it's like Race Flag, Aetherdrift. It feels more emblematic than this, which, you know, is okay, but it is what it is. So the box is okay if you like it. I like the colors, I like the balance, I like the art, right? So it's not my favorite box of all time, but it's kind of okay. The promo card, in my opinion, is pretty cool. And the lands that come with it, the normal lands are cool, but these lands are great in my opinion. So I will vouch for that. And the die, which is normally La Piece de Resistance, this one is pretty cool. This is in my top, you know, I don't know, 5 dice from the previous year of bundles, I guess. So, you know, not bad. But with Wizards, I feel it's kind of like that. Sometimes you either get a great die that is like cool looking and very easy to read, or you get something very weird and very abstract that is not very So overall, if you like the die and you like the box, which are actually the only 2 things that you're getting here that you cannot get anywhere else, and I guess the odd card, then just do the math. Look at the 9 boosters, see how much 9 boosters cost for you in your local game store, like your online stores or whatever. And if you can get the bundle for MSRP or less, go for it. I like the box and the die, so everything else is just nice to have. So thank you very much. I will see you next time on PAX and Recreation. And don't forget it, next time the race ends at the finish line, because we continue BUNDLEMANIA, and you love bundles. I guess, I hope, because I do love them, so I wish that's the case for you too. But if you don't, well, stay with us, like, subscribe, love you very much, bye!